Hi guys, my name's Alex. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I make beauty videos, videos about pregnancy, a few fashion videos, a few different things in there as well. Today we're going to be reviewing the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I have a hair in my mouth, but other than that, I have combination oily skin. It's also dehydrated and I have very enlarged pores on my nose and my cheeks in particular. I also have some blemishes that you'll be able to see in a moment. So I'm going to give this a good old test. My skin is on the oiliest side, but it's also very dehydrated. So I kind of have to try and balance those out when I use products. I have been using this foundation a few times, but I haven't done like an official 8-hour wear test. So I'm going to pop this on for you guys today, and we're going to see about how it wears. I'm going to do regular check-ins throughout the day, every few hours, and we'll see how we go. All right, so keep on watching for the application. I always forget the most important part. Please like this video if you enjoyed. I'm hoping it helps you. When I'm looking to buy new foundations, whether they're expensive or cheap, I love to watch people's reviews, find someone who's got a similar skin type to me so that I can kind of work out what shades would work for me and whether it would be a good foundation for my skin. So if you enjoy this video, please like it and please go ahead and subscribe because it would mean the world to me. Okay, now you can carry on and watch the video. Bye. I'm coming at you with my curly girl appearance. I achieved this with the Lee Stafford chopstick wand, and this is the next day. So I did it and it looked insane. I looked like Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I basically ran some water, I put water on my hands and like ran my fingers through just to relax them a little bit. I find whenever I do this style, it's so much better on like the second, third, fourth day. My hair's normally so fine, but I have a lot of it, and having it curly like this is kind of making me realise how much hair I actually have. But yeah, this is just for fun because, you know, we're knocked down, so why not curl your hair for no reason? So we're going to be going in with the Airbrush Flawless Foundation from Charlotte Tilbury. I've got the box here. So in terms of claims, it claims to be a full coverage foundation with a flawless matte, long-lasting finish. Apply your Airbrush Flawless Foundation, blending outwards from the centre of your face for a flawless airbrushed finish. Oh, how many times can we say that? So that's all that's on the box. And I got mine in number 4, Neutral. I just had to kind of guess this online by watching other people's videos as well. I found it so helpful watching reviews of people testing this. It's, well, I'll save my opinions to the end. I'm going to try it today with a different method. I'm going to use the sponge. I have been using the Hollywood complexion brush that it comes with. It's great, it applies it really well, but for me personally, I find it very, very cakey when I put it on like that. So today, I'm quite excited to try it using a sponge from the off to see if it has a different effect. So in terms of prepping my skin, I have applied moisturiser and I've also applied rosehip oil. Just because I find this quite a cakey foundation, I'm kind of testing it out to see if an oil will help to make it look more natural finish. I know what it looks like without an oil, so don't worry, I can still give you the same kind of reviews when I check in later on throughout the day. So it is super high coverage. Normally I find one pump on the back of the hand would be enough. With a sponge, it may need a little bit more than that. I'm not going to use any pore filling primers or anything like that. I just want to see how the product works on its own. I know that when I use a pore filling primer, it doesn't seem to have any beneficial effect with this foundation, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it neat. I've gone with 2 pumps on the back of the hand. I've caught a little bit of colour since the sun has been shining, and I think it kind of blends really well, this colour. It worked quite well for me when I was a bit more fair, and it's working quite well now I'm slightly darker. So I've got my Real Techniques complexion sponge. It's damp. I've wrung out all the water. And I'm just going to go ahead and start in the centre as they suggest. So you can see already like how high coverage this is. The issues that I've been having with this foundation are mostly on the nose. I know that that's quite common for people to have issues with foundations on their nose. For me, it's like the telltale as to whether it's going to work for me or not. So I'm just going to go and work this in bit by bit. I'm trying not to use too much product. I really don't want to cake it on unnecessarily. It's applying really nicely. Oh, I'm already feeling much more positive about this application compared to the brush. I don't want to say too much until it's finished, but at the moment, my nose looks pretty flawless actually. I'm going to bring this down my neck. Like I said, I'm just taking really small amounts at a time. I've got quite good skin to test this on because I do have some blemishes going on. Hormonal, lucky me. Yeah, so I can actually see how well this can cover. It's hard, I find it really hard because I have complex skin, I suppose. I find it quite hard watching reviews of foundation with people who have perfect skin, like they could literally just wear an SPF and their skin would look the same as mine with a full coverage foundation. It's really difficult. But you know, if that's the type of skin you have, then you want to watch someone who's got similar type skin. That's why there's so bloody many of us on the internet. So I'm just pouncing over these blemishes. They all, for some reason, are on one side of my face. And I'm gonna go in probably with foundation on a brush on top of them. So you can see that's how much they've covered them, just with a light layer and sponge. So I do think lighter weight foundations go on more quickly, but this is specifically high coverage, especially for if you were going out for the night, for example. I don't mind spending slightly longer blending it in if it's going to give me a much better effect. It's not hard to blend in by any means. So I'm just going to have a quick close-up look of my face now. I obviously have, you know, beauty lights here as well. They kind of help you see everything. So I think this oil is really helping. I have very dehydrated skin. It's not necessarily dry. I don't have dry patches, probably because I try to prevent that, but my skin is very dehydrated. So I think it's really benefiting from having this extra layer of oil. Saying that, I guess I do have oily skin as well, so we'll just have to see how it goes throughout the day. But my skin feels so dry, and honestly that oil helps out so much. It makes it feel really relieved. Let me just zoom you in. Oh hey. Hopefully you can see everything that I can see. I can still see some kind of discoloration from blemishes here and here. For some reason through this pregnancy, whenever I get a spot, it's taking like 2-3 weeks to heal. I don't really know what that's about, and you can see these blemishes here look still pretty bad, which is fine. I've only put a thin layer over. But on the whole, I think my skin does look pretty perfected. So my nose is looking really, really good. It's completely blended over all of my pores. And when I've been applying it with the brush, it's actually been sinking into the pores and looking like circles of foundation all over my nose. It's so, so horrible. Makes me feel really self-conscious when foundations do that. So I'm just gonna go with the Hollywood complexion brush, and on the small side, I'm gonna try and cover these spots. I'm actually gonna go over all of the little kind of blemishes that are still peeking through. And then with the brush side, just gently pat that in. Okay, I think that's done a really good job. I would say that's comparable to popping a concealer on. And if I can do it with a foundation, I prefer to do that because it's the same finish then. Okay, so this is the close-up finish of just the foundation. I'm really happy with that. This to me seems like a completely different product to when you use it with a brush, completely different. So I guess my advice would be try it with both methods. If you have this foundation and you haven't really been agreeing with it, then try it with a sponge or a brush, or, you know, vice versa, whatever you haven't tried yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face. I'm just gonna kind of do a basic everyday look, and then I'll come back to you and we can see the final product. I think just for fun, I'm gonna keep this footage in here and just fast forward it because I love watching people put their makeup on really fast. done. I just wanted to mention this lip product that I've been using. It's from Soap & Glory. It's called the Sexy Mother Pucker Gloss Stick 3D Volume Lip Shine. And this one's in the shade Pink Aboo. It's amazing. I think I got it maybe last year. I don't even know if it's still for sale anymore. I probably should have looked at that before I told you about it, but it's incredible. It's so moisturizing. It feels like a really comfortable lip balm, and then it gives you like a small amount of gloss with color. I think it would be like the perfect work lip just because it's so cozy. It's so comfortable to wear, and but it's not over the top at the same time. Okay, so I'm all done. Let me just have a quick look, make sure I haven't got any fallout hiding anywhere. So I did pop concealer on. I used the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away concealer just because I'm trying to get the most out of it. It's not my favourite. It's nice, but I mean, it's comfortable. It has good enough coverage, but it's not like blowing me away. And then I did top it with the Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, but I by no means think that you need to have all the extras to go along with the foundation. I think it would work just fine with your favourite products. So if I zoom you in, you can see what we look like after powdering. I actually prefer the look of it without powder, but because I used an oil beforehand and because I am more of an oily person, I think it's better for me to set this and then give it the best chance to last a good 8 hours or so. So this is what we're looking like. So I've just done, you know, bronzer, blush, highlight. I'm gonna have to sort these out with some Botox, guys, because my lines are getting deep. Anyway, ignore that. My nose is looking pretty good for me. I know this might be bad for you guys, but my pores aren't particularly obvious. They're not standing out in any way, shape or form close to how they did when I applied it with a brush. So I'm really happy with that. I didn't put any concealer on my nose because I wanted to just leave it to the foundation, see how it goes. And my chin. So I think the way I prepped my skin has helped this still remain quite radiant and luminous. It doesn't look flat at all. I mean, it's your opinion too. You guys are watching this on the camera, but in person, it looks actually really skin-like. It's covered up my blemishes really well, and that was just with foundation. I didn't have to use a spot concealer. So at the initial application, I'm really, really happy with this. It's got a really nice amount of coverage. It's kind of natural looking. I would say it's a pretty flawless finish. I have used products that are higher coverage than this, but it's giving me a flawless finish without seeming heavy. It doesn't feel cakey or anything on my face. So thumbs up so far, and I'll check in later on throughout the day. Bye. Hey, so we are 6 hours into the wear. I will zoom you in and let you guys have a look. I think it's wearing really nicely, actually. I mean, obviously, I've never had a foundation that's flawless 6 hours later, but I think it looks pretty good. Let me zoom you in. So you can see these blemishes are a bit more obvious now. I think some of that coverage has come away. Some coverage has come off my chin, but it looks fine. You can see a few kind of little blemishes on my top lip. This side looks really nice. My forehead, I mean, I've got these blooming lines. And then my nose, it's really, really not looking bad at all. I've got a few kind of flaky bits because I think my mascara is reaching the end of its life, so it's kind of flaking. But actually, in terms of my pores and things, it's not looking too bad. I haven't touched up at all. I haven't done anything. Normally I would like throughout the day, like, you know, press certain areas if they were looking oily, or if I started getting some lines anywhere, then I would kind of press them down. I would just, like, say I was at home, I would use my sponge and kind of go over my eyes again, but I'm making a conscious effort not to touch my face at all. So I'm gonna leave it on for a bit longer. I probably will clock back in before bed or something. It's quite late in the day, it's about 7 PM now. But I'm really happy with this. I haven't done anything crazy strenuous, so I know that, you know, if I was at work or something, it would wear differently to me just kind of mowing the lawn and being around the house and things like that. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with it so far. And I think in terms of my oiliness, if you remember me saying earlier, I put an oil on before I apply this foundation, and I have combination oily skin. I think this is controlling my oils really, really well. I don't feel particularly shiny. I think my skin just looks quite natural. So yeah, really happy with it. I'll see you in a bit. Okay guys, so my wear test is finished. I've had this on for 9 hours in total now, and I'm just about to take it off and go to bed. So looking in the mirror, same as earlier, I haven't powdered, I haven't touched anything up, I've literally just left it alone. At the same time, I haven't really been doing like strenuous exercise or anything like that. But you know, I've worn it for 9 hours. I think it's worn really, really well. I don't think I look particularly oily. I think there is obviously oil on my forehead, but nothing kind of out of the ordinary. Nothing that, like, you know, a bit of blotting and powder wouldn't fix either. I think it's worn really well. I'll zoom you in so you can see kind of the pores on my nose are a bit more noticeable, and obviously it's like worn off on my chin and things because I've had my dinner and stuff like that. So it's worn as you'd expect. So all in all, my final thoughts. Personally, I find it goes on much better with a sponge compared to a brush. And of course, that's for everyone to test out for themselves to see what they prefer. It's a completely different experience with me putting it on with a sponge. I think it's worn really nicely. I still don't think it's my favourite foundation, but also I've never ever found my favourite foundation. I have tried so many foundations and I obviously enjoy some more than others, but I've never found one where I've just thought, this is the best foundation I've ever used. It's perfect. I've never had that. I think this is really good though. It's not been cakey at all this time that I've worn it because I applied it with a sponge, whereas the other times I've worn it using a brush, I have found it quite cakey. So I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's a really good foundation, really good high coverage. I think you probably still can do just as good as this in the drugstore, to be honest. In terms of comparing this to another full coverage foundation, the Maybelline Superstay is a great alternative. That's £10. This is £34. So you don't need to spend all of your cash to get a good product. I do think this is really nice, and I obviously plan on continuing to use it, and I want to use it up because I want to get my money's worth. But at the same time, I wouldn't necessarily rush back and buy it again. I quite like trying new products because, like I said, I've never found my perfect holy grail foundation. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed, give me a thumbs up. Hopefully that's a good update for you. It was really hard not to like mess with my face and just leave it completely alone because I'm always, you know, doing a little touch up or whatever. So take care, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.